Greetings, everyone. Today on IC Tales, we have Travel with Delhiite. His real name is Dharam Singh, and he's a very, very interesting travel vlogger. So, Dharam sir, welcome to the show, and it's a pleasure having you for an interview.
Thank you, Sparsh, for inviting me for this interview. And it's the first ever interview for me since I started my Travel with Delhiite journey on Instagram only. So started my Instagram journey since back I guess 6 months back. So though I've started traveling, it's been more than 10 years. I'm traveling around the mountains in northern mountains and in some cities like Banaras and Mathura and Uttar Pradesh in some intercities like. But yeah, so since I am using Instagram since I believe 2 3 years, and since this reel thing came into the picture, so I thought to do it on my own, not to gain followers or to gain fame, but just to showcase my content, my travel content. So I love somewhere I love I love traveling. I love doing the photography. I love doing the videography of nature, and obviously for myself as well. Um, so I've whatever. So I started this travel with Delhiite in last maybe 6 months back, and so initially I have uploaded whatever the content was available in my laptop, which I captured in my last 10 years of experience in traveling. So I just shared, you can say, a term we use on internet, throwback. So I have
Throwback.
just thrown all those content on the Instagram at my Travel with Delhiite on daily basis. I just uploaded one of my best pick of any of the trip which I have which I've done in somewhere like in last 10 years. So initially I started this, but eventually when I see people have started, exploring my page, people have started liking my post, people have started seeing my reels. So that influenced me more to showcase more content to the audience. So that's where that's how the travel with talent came into the picture, and that's how it is going on. Yeah.
Dharam sir, my first question is that what was the trigger to get you traveling? Like, how did the whole story start? Not just Travel with Delhiite, but before that as well.
See, it's I think if I recall when I started my travel journey is way beyond like when I was in my schooling. So actually, it's not me who actually go for the travels. It's somewhere the travel which pulls me out from my home and
Wonderful.
taking me to the different places. And I'll tell you how it happened, because when I used to go for the tuition classes. Okay, so my tutor, she's a lady, and she used to bring all the children to the different places in like 3 or 4 months. Sometimes like India Gate, sometimes within the Delhi. So that's how somewhere it triggered me how, though I was traveling within the Delhi when I was in schooling, maybe I was in sixth, seventh class. Okay, so it for me the travel journey was started like this, and I started liking exploring new places because it was like going into the new places like Science Museum which is located in Delhi, then the Doll Museum, and then the other museums, and then the other part of Delhi like Lotus Temple. So all these things I visited during my schooling only with the help of my tutor, because she organized multiple um, trips, picnics, you can say like this. So that's how it goes. And then when I came into the JNIT for my engineering, I met a lot of people there. So again, they also uh, planned the uh, trips for the different locations. So this is how it happened. And I think this is something is happening with almost everyone in their life. Okay, everyone must have visited, must have attended their picnic, the school picnics, and then the college trips, and then something like this. But some people go just because of it planned by some organizer. Okay, but some people get into the picnic, get into the trip so deeply. So I did. I get into the trips, I get into the places. I just explored myself more and more when I was traveling through this time period. So I was thinking like it's very good to travel and see. I have only one thumb rule which I always say to people, like if you want to mature, if you really want to grow, you need to travel more, because travel is nothing. You just learn a lot and lot of things, lot of cultures, lot of values, lot of different cuisines you can see all around the world, and different culture and different dresses. And so it's like this only. So you can say it's somewhere travel who brings me, who pulls me out from my home to travel the world.
Okay.
I would say world right now, because I'm not going outside India, but yeah, I'm just using this term.
But
But yeah,
soon it will
surely in
come
future,
very soon.
soon it will be. Yeah, soon it will be, because I have maybe I have targets to cover some beautiful foreign countries, which is, we can say, offbeat countries, which nobody, very few people visited. So, and with that, I want to add one more thing. I would like to travel, offbeat destinations, because I don't like much crowd. Honestly, I don't like I don't like much Manali, because Manali is like every other person is just go to the Manali every other day. So it's just much crowded. Even in in recent when the second wave just came to India, you see after the lockdown was lifted up. So everybody would have seen the pictures which went viral of the Manali's Mall Road, which was flooded with the people. People were not wearing masks. So honestly, it's not about Corona, but since beginning, I don't like crowd. I don't like going onto the crowd places. Even if I'm going to the crowded places, I prefer to choose places to stay, places to visit where the crowd, where the less crowd is available. For example, like I visited Manali last year, last week. Even this week, last week also I visited Manali.
Mhm.
But when I visited Manali, uh, I booked my hotel at the Prini village in Manali. And Prini village, I would say, is a very less crowded area. Very less people stayed there, because it's all cottages area, I would say. We can say in some different language, like it's like a VIP area of Manali, because every other person doesn't go there. Like every other person go to the Mall Road, every other person doesn't go to the Prini village. Yeah, that's how it is. And I visited Malra just to click one picture, okay, which I posted on my page, just to showcase, okay, I'm in Manali, guys.
I will go
And then I just hired one Himalayan just to cross the tunnel second time. First time I crossed last year in in a taxi, but this time I crossed the tunnel over the Himalayan bike. And believe me, when I crossed it, the view was like phenomenal, because lots of good views, lots of good glaciers I have seen, as you can see on my Instagram page. And it's really a very, I would say it's a Lahore Valley. Lahore and Spiti Valley started when we crossed the tunnel. So it's just amazing. You can spend there many hours by just sitting there with the view.
Okay, the second question is we've seen you travel a lot and especially in the northern part of India. So, what is that one place that never fails to impress you? Or you can say your favorite place, but just one. You're allowed only one.
See, I've traveled even many places in northern area, but the one place that never fails me is, I would say, Rishikesh. Rishikesh is the place. I mean, you know, uh, before coronavirus, it was like 6 consecutive years. I was going to Rishikesh every year just for the rafting, and every year whenever I have done this rafting, I just create one thought in my mind. Okay, God just saved me this year. I'll not do this next year. Because it's really somewhere dangerous to do. The rapids, the whirlpool rapid, and the different rapids that we go with in our boat. It's like very dangerous to be honest, but somewhere it's thrill, it's adventurous, and it's kind of an experience like you can have it every year. So yeah, Rishikesh is the place which never failed me. By the time things have changed in Rishikesh, but still, it's good to go, and again it's a budget friendly to go Rishikesh because it's a very low budget, I would say, place to visit in mountains, and yeah, especially visit on the Lakshman Ram Jhula is always fascinating going there. So yeah, that's the place I would recommend, and I would say never failed me.
Okay, interesting. So, as I said that we've seen you travel a lot across the northern part of India. But what about the southern part of India? Is that trip coming up soon? And if yes, then when is it coming up? And what should we be expecting from you?
I am actually waiting for one of my friend, and he's from Kerala only. All right, and I'm just waiting for him because he's a bit busy in his life, and I actually wanted to go with him only because he's from Kerala only, and the reason why, because a tourist place can always um, what can I say? A local, I would say,
Hmm.
local can go. Local can let you inside the real places of the tourist of the location of Kerala. So, which is why I am just holding on myself. I know that that trip will happen in 2022. I just hope if no Corona doesn't come. So I'll try to go to his place, and I'll tell him. And believe me, we will do the road trip from Delhi to Kerala, and then we'll explore more and more in the deep woods of the Kerala. And the I know he showed me multiple times different kind of insects, and different snakes. He even caught snakes multiple times. He showed me in the videos. So I just wanted to see the inner beauty of Kerala with the help of my friend because he's from there only. And again, he's one of my good friend, and you can say one of my good mentor in my life. So yeah, I am even more excited than anybody in the world to visit Kerala with him via road trip
Okay. Just for
because
the
I know the
audience, the
Kerala.
reason I'm sorry to cut you off, but for the audience, the reason I was smiling so broadly is because I am from Kerala myself. So I can totally
Yeah,
understand what he means to say that going with a local person into the tourist places, that can be one of the best
you
tour
know,
guides you can ever have.
yeah, I've seen a lot of videos of Kerala from the different vloggers and YouTubes, and I just the kind of beauty these guys have showcased is just like mesmerizing, and I just can't miss to visit these places. And I just wanted to capture my version of the beauty, inner beauty of Kerala. I just wanted to capture it. So hopefully that will happen soon, maybe in 2022, if this third wave, I hope that will not come. If this third wave will not come, probably I will plan a trip for Kerala. I'm not excited just this year. I'm excited to visit Kerala. It's been like more than 4 years. Even when my sister she got married, so she was asking me like, where do we go for after marriage for honeymoon? So I suggested him if you really wanted to spend your quality time with the nature, just go to Kerala. And she actually visited Kerala and she stayed there for like 4 days and she just had a wonderful time there. So even even again one of my colleague I suggested him as well, and he visited there and he just loved it. So I know I am suggesting people because I wanted to go. Just you can see the kind of excitement I have in me for Kerala. I'm I've still not visited Kerala, but still I am asking people to visit because I know kind of beauty Kerala has.
Trust me
Yeah.
when I say this, I was feeling extremely proud when you were talking about Kerala. So coming to the fourth question, and this might be one of your favorite questions from the whole video. Your true love seems to be the beautiful Royal Enfield Himalayan. So, what got you hooked onto it? And also, what was the feeling when you rode the 411cc off-roading beast for the first time in your life? What was the feeling? What was going on in your head?
See, Himalayan, I think Himalayan, it was introduced by Royal Enfield somewhere in like maybe 4 or 5 years back in India. since the Himalayan came into the picture. So I saw this bike on road 3 years back in Delhi, and I was like, wow, it's something, not a luxury bike. It's something not a normal bike. It's something beyond. I mean, the look of the bike is mesmerizing. It's simple, it's crisp, I would say, and it's attracting. So I was like, oh my god, I like this bike. What's the name of this bike? Then I saw the name of the bike, and then I uh, gone through with some videos on YouTube how the features are of the bike, what is the specification of the bike, and then I got to know that this bike is specially designed for the Himalayas only, for the mountains regions only. Then I was like, okay. Otherwise, believe me, otherwise, since I ride Ladakh ride, I was about to buy this bike in Delhi, but then I was like, okay, it's for Himalayas only, and I am not a frequent traveler right now in the mountains. But yes, one day I'll buy it. So coming back to the point, so I just I always wanted to ride Himalayan because it is dedicatedly for mountains. Always wanted to ride this bike in the mountains only, but never got chance because when I visited mountains in last 2 years multiple times, but the kind of company, the kind of friends I had, they were actually least interested, in going around in the areas of Himalayas on bike. So I was alone into the favor of roaming around, into the favor of having a bike in the mountains, a rented bike, and then explore the places on bike. But again, it was in my heart somewhere like to visit or to explore Himalayas over the Himalayan. But then this one day I was just sitting, and this first wave just went over. Uh, the second wave just went over, and then I was like, yeah, it's the high time now, and it's like last I visited or traveled Ladakh in 2017, and then I decided to visit next time on bike. But my honestly, my mother and father, they never wanted me to travel from Delhi to Ladakh on bike because of lack of experience, you can say, in the mountains. So I respected their feelings, their concerns, their everything. But then I planned my trip this which I completed this year only 2 months back to Ladakh. Then I flew from Delhi to Ladakh. Okay, and then I when I landed there, I decided at that moment I am going to explore Ladakh on bike only, no matter how it's gonna be, how I have experience or not on Himalayan in the mountains, but I have decided because I had one my friend who is ready to do this crazy thing with me. And then I just checked into the hotel. I just spent one day in Leh only because the acclimatization process is really very important for the high, just to prevent from the high altitude sickness. Then next day I just hired one Himalayan, which cost me around 2,500 because it was a peak season at that day. Yeah, so I visited the entire Ladakh, including Nubra Valley, Khardungla, and Pangkong Lake, Changla Pass, and different passes. It was around more than 700 kilometers I traveled on the Himalayan bike over the Himalayas uh, and I'm not sure uh, in Ladakh region. And multiple times I was feeling like a death situation because of the water crossing that I came across on the roads. It was a very dangerous water crossings, and the kind of roads wherein off-roading I have seen. It's like somewhere it's much dangerous. But वो कहते हैं ना डर के आगे जीत है. So
Okay.
I just go through with this mantra, and finally I completed the ride of Ladakh, which I covered more than 700 kilometers, and then I called myself a rider. I am a you can say, um, self-declared rider because honestly, riding within the Ladakh over the on Himalayan bike is not easy, to be honest, and a non-experienced guy. See, I bought my bike in Delhi maybe 10 years back. So I have a much experience of biking in Delhi on plains. Okay, which is why I had the courage to travel the bike, especially like Himalayan in the Ladakh region. And talking about the bike is awesome. Really, really, it's not just the name, it's the performance. It's in entire more than 700 kilometer in Ladakh. It's not a single place, it's not a single instance where Himalayan disappointed me. Whether be it it's a off-roading for 10 kilometers, be it it's a water crossing, a deep water crossings, but it, Himalayan didn't fail me. So the experience was awesome, and the performance was awesome by the bike, which is why I just traveled Manali last week, and again I hired a Himalayan to cross the tunnel. So that's how my experience is, and this is something I'm going to continue with the Himalayan. So whenever I'm going to, you know what, in my last Manali trip, I was not getting the Himalayan on rent, but I am a stubborn guy for this particular Himalayan. I just had it by hook or by crook. I just rented. My friend was like, "Why don't you take the other bikes like Bullet le yaar?" And I was like, "No, I want Himalayan means Himalayan because I know the performance of Himalayans in the mountains area, which is why I again and probably whenever I will go into the mountains again, I'll definitely rent a bike, only Himalayan, no other than that. Otherwise, I would better hire scooty, but when it is about bike, then only Himalayan, nothing else than that. Yeah.
So, sir, a quick impromptu question about that photo behind you. We've seen that pose multiple times on your Instagram page, the meditation pose.
Yeah,
What's the story
actually
behind it? It seems quite interesting.
actually there is no story behind it. I just love to pose like this, and I call this pose is, for me, it's everybody has a signature pose. So for me, for Dharam Singh, for Travel with Delhiite founder, this is my signature pose. So I just, you can say it just happened. I didn't do it deliberately that I wanted to post this in every trip. It just happened every trip. Whenever I am doing some pose, then I this pose just came into my mind to do that. So it's just go by the flow, you can say. So and then when I got to know, oh my god, I have a lot of series of this. I have a lot of pictures in different places in this pose. Then I think it's a must doing pose going forward, and you can call it your signature pose. So even when I traveled Ladakh this year, so many photos I have in this pose, and in my recent Manali trip, even I have this pose which I posted on Instagram in near Hidimba temple. At my back, it's a Hidimba temple, and again, my signature pose picture is there. So yeah, I just love this pose, and this particular. If you talk about this particular picture, it's in Nainital, somewhere in Nainital in the mountains, and maybe it's not clear in the video, but the road is empty and it's a zigzag road, which is which brings this picture a very, I would say, scenic.
You said that you've been traveling for around 10 years now. So, in the northern part of India, if you had to suggest someone who is on a tight budget, if you had to suggest one place to that person, what would it be, and what are the must-try things you would suggest to that person on a budget?
See, I've recently traveled in Himachal for paragliding, and it's a place called Biribili. You know, when I put my story for Biribili on the Instagram or on WhatsApp, especially on WhatsApp, people were like, "What is this place?" Then I in my next story, because every other person was asking me, "What is this place? Where are you now?" Then I'm on my next story. I again mentioned in the caption, "It's a beer billing, guys." Then people were like, "Beer billing?" A lot of people never heard about this name, beer billing. And believe me, beer billing is a gem of a piece in Himachal. It's one of the most. I mean, beer billing is a place like I can go twice a year, honestly. Offbeat destination. a very good crowd, decent crowd. You know, you can go even with your girlfriend, because and you can sit around anywhere, and you can just chat, and you can just have a conversation. And there is a place called a landing site, wherein, whenever there is a place called billing, where every paraglider took people for the paragliding, and then from billing they just jump off from the mountains and then come to the beer. That's how this beer billing called. So there is a place called billing where everybody takes off the paraglide and then landed at beer. So there is a landing site in beer, wherein it's a very I would say scenic place there. It's a green land. It's a green land. And if I count in a minute, in a particular minute, it's about at least five, at least five paraglidings. Five paragliders landed in that particular land. So you just can't take your eyes off from the scene, because in every minute, five paragliders are just landing down there at the landing site, and people are actually having fun there. And it's not just about the landing site. If you talk about the entire bay building, it's just a very good waterfall, and there is a Rajgunda track is there. So it's a budget friendly place of destination with scenes. And even the hotels are not so costly there. You can have you can stay there in the hostels. um, Very good hostels options are available there. Yeah, so I think, and it's a very at a very short distance, not a short distance, maybe it's around 500 kilometers from Delhi. But yeah, it will not it will take less than 12 hours maybe to take you from. So it's a, you can do this on a weekend only. You can visit Biri Billing. All you need is weekend. And it's again, if you wanted to do paragliding, then it will cost you more to 2500. Otherwise it's a budget friendly. It depends on your priorities whether you want to do the paragliding or not. But I would recommend, if you are going to the Birbiling, you must do the paragliding. You must do the paragliding, because the kind of eagle eye view, you will see while doing the paragliding, unforgettable. Not, you cannot compare the kind of view you will see when you will be there in in the air. And then when I was doing, when I was doing the paragliding, and when initially I was feeling very scared, like, oh my god, I have to jump off from the mountains. Then I saw there were some girls, and they were doing it easily. They were jumping off from the mountains, from the building, easily. And I was like, when they can do it, why am I so scared? I can do this. And this person is saying, the rider, the pilot, he's saying it's safe. Then I think, let's go, let's do this. And then it was in the beginning only, when I just jump off from the mountain. And then when जब मैं हवा के बीच में था ना, then I was like, wow, it's worth doing it. Everybody, I would say every youth, every individual must see the view with the paragliding. And I just feel, मेरे मन में एक बार भी खैर वो वाला थॉट नहीं आया, लाइक 500 रुपए दे दे नीचे उतार ले, द फेमस वीडियो विच वेंट
Yeah,
वायरल,
yeah.
वेरिन भाई. सो ऑनेस्टली पीपल इन माय ग्रुप बहुत मजाक उड़ाया उन्होंने मेरा.
So you've been a seasoned player in the field of travel blogging. So to an upcoming travel vlogger, maybe a teenager or maybe someone in his early 20s, his or her early 20s, what is one piece of advice you would give to the person any day at any time about travel blogging? Just one piece of advice.
See, first, the only one advice that I actually believe in, and I am on it, and I want to give to everyone out there in the world, that first, travel. It's really important. Every 2 or 3 months, you you must travel. And especially a corporate guide like me, the kind of load we have, the kind of meetings, and the kind of XYZ things we have to do. So it's really important to do traveling. It refreshes your mind. It gives you more energy, more strength to tackle the difficulties which you can see, or you may see, or you are seeing in life. So I think travel is important. And if you are thinking about to showcase your skills, your work, I would say your videos, photography. So first, focus on travel. Enjoy. You are doing travel just for the peace of mind, not just to gain some followers or just to gain some likes on some social network platform. So, like I said, I am traveling since a long time, but I was more into the like having fun when I'm traveling instead of capturing things. But now I just added one more thing with the travel. With the help of travel, I'm not just exploring myself and the new places. I'm just capturing it as well, and I make sure that quality is really very important when you are uploading, when you are sharing your um, work on Instagram, when you are showing your pictures, videos. So just concentrate on one thing, which is quality content. It is really important. It will help you to grow your Instagram account, okay, and it will help you to grow your skills. But before that, before concentrating on these things, make sure that you are having fun while doing these things, while capturing these things. So for me, I travel, I enjoy, at the same time, I capture. So it's a combination for me now. And I just use each and every bits and pieces to, enjoy my time. And just one more advice that I wanted to give. If you are going in the mountains or somewhere to have fun, okay, let's talk about mountains first. I always wakes up 5 a.m. in the morning, irrespective of when I slept, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 11 a.m., or 12 a.m. I don't care. If I am going there in the mountains, so early morning is the thing that I never miss. I always capture, I always walk around the streets in the mountains, and I always have a tea at 6 a.m. Maybe somewhere, maybe sometimes 7 a.m. But yeah, that's the thing that because early morning is something you can never feel throughout the day, even in the night. And it's a different view when you visit mountains. So honestly, I go in the mountains not to sleep. So I avoid sleeping much in the mountains. And instead of that, I spend more time on the streets, on the places, instead of more time in hotel, which is why I don't go for the fancy or some costly hotels. I just take a very basic hotel because honestly, spending a lot of money on hotels uh, doesn't worth it if you have some financial constraints. Yeah, so that's the thing which I always do.
Awesome. Awesome. So that was all for the interview, sir. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time with us. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you. And I hope our
Same
audience
here,
also is
Sparsh.
interested in going out to the mountains, Rishikesh and Veer Billing. Do the paragliding thing when you're at Veer Billing for sure. That was all for the
Yeah.
interview, everyone. Thank you.